Hey you guys, and welcome to What Takara. So today we're not doing cooking. I'm not giving you guys recipes and things like that. However, we're actually going to be talking about a subject that hopefully will help, a lot of women. Just as a disclaimer before we get started, that we are going to be talking about miscarriage. So if that's something that you know that you're not going to be able to handle, or something that is too sensitive for you to handle, please log off the video. But I encourage you, if you could stay, I'm going to show you how I got past my miscarriage. Not really get past it, but how God got me through it. Losing a baby is not something that is easy. However, when you know that God's got you, it's easier to get through. Okay, so let's start back at 2005. I decided, well, I already had my first child, and we were trying to have a second one. So the day came, I found out I was pregnant, and I think also I was working that day. I was in school full time, and I was also working, I was in college full time. Let me be clear. I was in college full time, and I was also working at the college as well as a lab assistant at the time as well. And then one day, I found out I was pregnant, and I was at work. I was actually on campus in, where was I at? Actually, I was in the lab. I was in the lab. I was a lab assistant to one of the doctoral students. And I just remember having a lot of cramping, a lot of pain. So I I thought, I just found out the day before that I was actually pregnant. And I went to the bathroom, and I had to be maybe about, whenever I'm pregnant, I'm always about at least, I would say between 4 to 6 weeks, around that. So I just, some of my friends say that they still have a period. Some of them still say, they had a period the whole time they were pregnant. So I've heard all kinds of stuff. So I didn't really think nothing about it 100%, because it was more a fresh pregnancy. But I got to tell you, the pain that I had, it felt like the worst cramps I've ever had in my life. To the point where I went to the bathroom, and I just saw, I was bleeding, but I thought it was a period. I went back to work and all that stuff, and got to the point where I told the doctoral student, hey, do you have a pad? Because I think, I told her, hey, I started my monthly again, and just because the cramps were getting more intense, so of course, I was like, okay, well, you can make do without a pad, but we improvised, 8 ladies, you know what I mean? So I was like, I need to get something. So she gave me a pad, and I remember going to the bathroom again because the pain was very, it was pretty intense. So I went to the bathroom, and that's when you can, started to see that it was more than just than just a period. I remember I was in so much pain that I couldn't even honestly get off the commode. And by the time I got off the commode, I literally had to get called. They called, I think they called an ambulance. Either called an ambulance or they called my husband at the time. And I just remember I was just kept thinking, like, is this really happening? Is this, is this really happening right now? And I think it was unreal, only because I didn't understand what really was taking place. So I get to the hospital, and of course they verify that actually I was having a miscarriage, which was information that I couldn't handle at the time. The hospital that I went to, they revamped it since then, but the wait was normally a good 4 to 6 hours easy in the waiting room. Thank God they don't have that anymore. You get in and out within like at least a couple hours, but either way. But I had time to sit there. I think it was like 6 hours. I literally was sitting there, bleeding and, having all kinds of emotions and thoughts and all of this stuff. And I just remember them saying, and then on top of that, what they go, everybody's experience is different. So my experience was maybe not as intense as some of you guys have experienced. But I have to tell you, the experience nevertheless was very heart-wrenching, because you don't know what to do. You don't know what to turn to. You don't know who's going to comfort you in that room when they put you in the stirrups. You just, it can be a quite lonely feeling, honestly. So they told me that, because I wasn't that far along, that basically they didn't have to do a DNC. Basically, just let, my body, it's the craziest thing that they say, eliminate. So I went home, and of course I was crying, and, I think I was just more numb. More so than a lot of crying. I think I was just numb because I didn't really understand. I understood that I was having a miscarriage, but to know that the very thing that has been tried and finally, pregnant, and that it was basically gone. So there's a good end to the story, I promise. For 2 weeks, I was on basically bed rest. It was like a good week for sure. So boom. My body just, like they said, eliminated, and I call it a baby. They say it's tissue, but either way, the fact is that while I was laying in that bed, God was able to minister to me. I was able to realize that I surrendered, and I just said, God, I'm just going to trust you, that whatever happened to me, that you had it all under control, and that, not going to try to keep trying to have a child and trying, like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And that, I don't know, it was just this strength that he gave me when I realized, number one, who God is. He's not a God that's just going to sit there and just punish you and, oh well, he did this to punish me, or he doesn't want me to have a baby, or you know, he could have let the baby live. He knew I wanted one, or all kinds of stuff. At the end of the day, when you know that God is in control of everything, he is in control of every single thing, so that we can give him glory. God is not against us. He is for us. And in that bid, I understood that. I thought about the women in the Bible, how wombs were open, how, they were barren, but then he opened their womb. And I'm like, well, God, if you can do this for the women in the Bible, if you can sit there and open somebody's womb and allow them to have a baby, my womb is open. I can have children. And I thought to myself, you know what? I can always have another one. And that was the strength that I got. That literally was the stuff that was ministered to me. And it was like, you know what? I don't know how that, only God knows what could have happened with that child. Maybe the child would have had some kind of an abnormal defect, anything. God only knows what could have truly happened, why things happened that they did. But when you get to the point where you stop questioning God, when you stop questioning him, when you take a moment and say, you know what? And everybody's grief is different. And I have to tell you, it is normal to cry. It is normal to grieve. However, it's not normal to grieve to the point where you're sick, where you are debilitated. There literally is a demon called grief. A lot of people don't know that. Where they literally are debilitated. They don't move past a section in their life that has caused them sadness, where they don't literally grieve themselves into a state of grief. I know some women that has had miscarriages right up to like the last month. And they are strong enough to say, you know what, this did happen. It may take them, honestly, it took me maybe about a week to 2 weeks because of how far along I was. I was still heartbroken because I wanted the child. But I do know that there's women out there that has had full-grown babies kicking and things of that sort. And they're questioning. I'm telling you that God can get you through it just like he did with me. The same pain, the same grief, I experienced the same thing. And it's like you just want the pain to go away. You want the sadness to go away. You want, it just to be over. And I got to tell you, this is how God helped me. He helped me see that, I'm for you. I'm not against you. And I stopped questioning his plan. I really just stopped questioning. I was able to have peace. He gave me this peace like no other. If you just sit and say, Lord, I don't know what your plan was, but I'm open to accept. I'm open to be healed. Ask the Lord to heal you. He will heal you from this. I promise you, he will heal you. Just ask him. When I was sitting in that bed, I literally was thinking, like, no joke, God, you can make this happen again for me. I can have another child, and I'm not going to do this, trying to plan it and trying to, do this and do that. And it was just, I started letting go of my own will and say, Lord, you know what? In due time, this will happen. And guess what? It had to been about 2 weeks later. I mean, like literally 2 weeks later, I got pregnant again. I literally got pregnant again. So that was like, I guess in November. It had to been in November. We started going to a new church, which is a church that I go to now, which is Glory International Ministries. And I remember the first testimony I gave was about how God got me through my miscarriage. And I just remember feeling so much strength. It was like, yes. I'm sorry. So it wasn't 2 weeks after I had a miscarriage. It was 2 weeks after I joined a church, which was still in November. So all this was in November. So maybe I would think maybe I just had a miscarriage. And I think maybe the second week after my miscarriage, we started going to the ministry. And then 2 weeks after we joined the ministry, that's when I got pregnant. And I got to tell you, if God can do it for me, he can definitely do it for you. When you stop questioning, when you start really saying, you know what, God is not against me. Your womb is still open. You can have more children if you decide to. And at the time, that was still a desire. And this is, I'm not going out. First off, I was married. So I'm not encouraging single women to go out here and just start having a bunch of kids. I still very believe in the union of marriage, and that God, and that sex is for marriage. So, amen. So I just wanted to give you guys a bit of my testimony. This testimony is to help women to understand, you know what, God is not against you, that he can get you through any kind of grief that you're going through. I don't know how long, you guys. Maybe it's been years. And not to say that you don't think about it, because for a while I actually used to think about I actually used to think about, the child and, what it would be like and all of this stuff. And I was like, you know what, I have 2 beautiful children. I don't have to think about the coulda, wouldas. I'm going to accept what he's blessed me with and go from there. Everybody, this is my testimony. So please, however that fits for you, hopefully this has helped you just to understand the strength that the Lord can give you to get past, to heal. See, this is more than just, this isn't get over your miscarriage. No, absolutely not. I'm telling you how God can heal you and strengthen you to be healed so that you're not in a state of severe grief. So that you know that you can push past the feelings that you guys have experienced, and just know that God is there for you. He is there for you. He loves you. He wants to care for you. He wants to nurture you. And at the end of the day, there's always a way. There's always a way to humble yourself. There's always a way to, he will always strengthen you. You just ask for it. Just say, Lord, strengthen me in this area. Strengthen me in the area of, or ask for, to be healed. Say, Lord, I want to be delivered. I want to be healed from grief. I want to accept your will for my life. And when you get to that point, that's when you can really start healing. So hopefully this has helped some women out there. I just know that for sure, he is an awesome God. He didn't, hurt me, and he didn't, you know, punish me or any of that. And I accepted that. I said, God, you didn't punish me. You didn't, and you still blessed me with my precious little girl. And we just celebrated her birthday. She's now she's now 14 years old. So yeah, amen. So hopefully this has helped somebody. Let me know in the comments. If you have any questions, I'm here. So again, you have a blessed day. I'm about to start my day off now. See you guys.